This is Fulcrum, a Star Wars podcast. Your way of tapping into the Force from a galaxy far, far away. Hello there.
Hello, what have we here? Here's where the fun begins.
Count me in.
Hello, everybody, and welcome in to Fulcrum, a Star Wars podcast. Today, our Rebels Rewatch continues with episodes 3 and 4, The Lost Commanders and Relics of the Old Republic. We're in Season 2, and Episode 3 is The Lost Commanders. It was released on October 14th, 2015, written by Matt Miknevitz and directed by Sergio Paez. Episode 4, Relics of the Old Republic, was released October 21st, 2015, written by Stephen Melching and directed by Bosco Ng. I am Colton Robertson. I'm joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
Oh, what up, what up? Always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you, and we got some Star Wars to talk today, baby. How are you feeling about these episodes of Rebels?
Man, well, last week we got, a nice James Earl Jones and Vader episodes, but I didn't know what was coming next. I didn't know we were getting Rex. I didn't know we were getting the return of good old Captain Rex.
Return of the Rex.
It's I don't know. It's got to be. I don't know. We're just feasting in Rebels. It's only getting better. And I see why this show is just so comforting the whole way through. But I don't know, we even get the It is Rex returning, but it isn't just kind of like, hey, here he is, and we're showing him again. Like, we have 2 actual episodes with him where there's interesting conflict. I guess the fishing or whatever animal or whatever.
The big bongo.
Yeah, whatever they pull out there. It could be seen as a filler episode, sure.
The Jupas.
No,
it's not filler, man. You bring Rex back, and we are doing something important. We're looking for a new base. We need this old Republic general who had great knowledge of the Outer Rim, as Ahsoka lays it out. No, it's a goodie. I think it provides a little more context for. One thing to consider is that this episode came out before Clone Wars was over. They hadn't finished Clone Wars yet. Rex's fate wasn't known at this time because they didn't know if he survived the Clone Wars. They didn't know if he made it out. They didn't know what happened. So it is a whole other level to his return here if you were a fan watching at the time of release. Because you'd be like, "Oh shit, cool, so he's alive." So there are important drops in these couple episodes that I think really, really lend themselves to Kanan's backstory and to Rex's survival of Order 66. The whole. There's some stuff they recontextualize a little bit and kind of change the perspective of come season 7. Whenever he's like, "I didn't turn on my Jedi. We all have a choice," and it's like, well, that's. You did though. You didn't want to, but you did. You held off about as long as you could. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I guess I wonder how, if they just had that worked up at all, if there was any plan for it, or if they just at this point they're like, well, we know we want him to survive. We'll figure it out later whenever we finish Clone Wars. Or I wonder.
I wonder how intricate the story they had planned was, because I think they knew for a long time the story ended with the Siege of Mandalore. Like, that last arc is the final battle of the Clone Wars. But I am curious how. I'm sure there was a version of this story where Rex doesn't make it out, or something like that, it's very nice to watch Ahsoka kind of think about Rex and remember Rex and kind of be like, he was a great general, and Kanan, trust him, it's gonna be okay, trust him. I love that when you have a character like Hera, who is incredibly passionate about their cause and incredibly passionate about the people she is in it with. When you come to a story like this, where Kanan must deal with something emotionally and go on that journey, you have to sideline her somehow, or else it's too easy. Which is very, very funny. You know, so like the fact that she is set aside at the beginning of the third episode, like, oh, ship's not working. You guys go down there by yourselves. We're gonna fix it. Mm-hmm. It's really just because if she was there, she'd be like, Kanan, I'm sorry, honey. Yeah. But we gotta trust this guy. You know,
it is too easy. Wow, yeah, we have to let Kanan suffer. It is like kind of because I was wondering why. Like, man, it really just felt like they are just sticking Hera up there. You know, with the ship just being damaged, whatever. Chopper didn't do his repairs, but yeah, I'm
curious how often this happens now. Because and it's not like in fact, it's better for the story. You know, like it is the right choice. It's just funny that like you've created such a good character, and I mean good in the moral sense, that if they are going to face struggles, sometimes she can't be there because it will be so easy for them. And I think that's hysterical, you know?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah.
Not to say that Kanan is devoid of struggle when she is there, you know. I think it's cool to see them kind of at each other's throats a little bit this season at the beginning so far. Like even at the beginning of episode 3, whenever he's like, and we also got to help people, you know. You remember? And she's like, we can't help people if we can't help ourselves, honey. Yeah. You know, like I love mom and dad kind of spatting here. It's fun.
Yeah, that was, I guess, one part of the episode that felt. Now I feel very justified as to why they set Hera aside. That feels very good. And then the other one was like Ahsoka just being like, you guys go find Rex and I'm going to go off. And it's because she's like, there are some questions that need answered. And I think like we were wondering if she was in denial kind of last episode or, before. And I think like now it's just for sure. Like she's just in denial. She's like, I have a feeling about who he might be, but I'm going to leave it as an unanswered question for now until I know later. But I love the droid that's honing in on Rex's his number. Like, how is it honing in on him though? You know, like I don't know. I was wondering if like, is there something else to clones other than their inhibitor chip? Because his inhibitor chip is out at that point, but it's still like 7-2, or I don't know what his number
7126 or 7216 or something like that. That's a good question. I'm not sure how he's keying in on Rex here, beyond dramatic effect.
Yeah, could just be they needed a reason.
Because that's again that would be a fun for really really hardcore fans who are watching. Super Battle Droid's head starts coming online and saying Rex's designation number, and they're going, little Leo and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood there, but I'm not sure what the maybe there's something to the idea that they faced off before in the past, and they're keying in on this super bad this walker that they've got. Maybe the walker was specifically his during the wartime or something. There's no telling, but
maybe Ahsoka knew that if she turned on this droid, that it would lead directly to Rex, but she just actually held off on it to let him be.
Yeah, because
I don't know, maybe just to let him be.
She's been reaching out, and he hasn't been responding.
That's right.
Which was a good touch. That's a really good touch, because it would have felt a little like, why the fuck aren't Rex and Ahsoka kicking it? But I appreciated that they were like, Wolf. Yeah. Wolf is having a tough time kicking the old order.
I guess we get that nice kind of end to that arc at the end when Rex is just like, we can't be afraid of the Empire forever, man. Come on. Like, we have to live. And he realizes just right then and there, he's like, yeah, no, I was wrong. You're right. And then it's just kind of over right then and there. But like, man, you really fucked this situation like super hard by calling the Empire here. But I don't know. I knew he wasn't gonna die, here.
No, of course.
But it was.
There's a really, really strong moment there, man. Whenever like, my favorite scene of the second episode is the Deus Ex Machina, the Phantom pulls, whenever Rex jumps out of his walker. He stands in front of the Imperial walker and is like, let's fucking go then. You know, let's ride. Let's do this shit. And he just like closes his eyes and he's ready to die. And then Kanan and Ezra and Zeb pull up, jump out. Like I was like, oh, that's sick. Yeah, no, that's my favorite scene. I fucking love it. And he even says, you know, like just like old times or something. I'm like, yes, yes. Oh, dude, it feels good. It feels good.
Man, is this really the life of Rex? Is just every mission he had a moment in which he thought he was gonna die, he was accepting his fate, and then Anakin or Obi-Wan or Ahsoka came in at the last second, saved his life.
Right.
But I also loved the, you know, whenever Kanan finally gave like an order, you know, he was like, well, you know, we can't really do anything. The sandstorm is really picking up or whatever. And he goes, well, you can see, you know, with the Force, a Jedi is not blind through this. And he goes, oh, I'll trust a Jedi, you know, or whatever. And Kanan finally realizes it and he's like, all right, well, everyone in the ship. And Rex just goes, yes, General. Or like, he kind of like, he takes a moment to like realize like I just said that like again I said that stuff. Again.
Yeah, he's like, man, I've missed this. Yeah, no, and it's it really is nice to watch. Well, kind of all these characters. I like that season 2 so far is reckoning with the effects of the Clone Wars. Maybe not more than season 1, but zeroing in on it a little bit because, you know, last week we had Kanan talking about how there used to be 10,000 Jedi Knights and, you know, all that stuff. And this time he literally had to explain Order 66 to Ezra. And I think that's I think that's important for the character of Kanan. You know, like we modernly in Star Wars, we've obviously gotten to a point where it's kind of like, oh, another Order 66 flashback. Oh, we're doing this again. And I'm never going to complain about it, you know, but it is something that happens a lot now. Like, that's just, I mean, it's a really, really important event where a lot of things sprawl out from. And we actually don't get this flashback until the Bad Batch, funny enough. But I appreciate that they even acknowledge it. And the most interesting perspective for me is Ezra. Because he's completely devoid of context. He has no idea what happened, what went on, and the way that he gets to ask Rex questions because he knows it's an uncomfortable topic to breach with Kanan. There's a little bit more of a soft spot there that he knows Kanan has, and he's like, Rex comes around and he's like, hey, so the war. You know, like that is a tough topic to breach, you know, like, I actually just rewatched Apocalypse Now, which, if you haven't revisited that fucking movie since we talked about it, oh boy, is that a goodie. I hadn't either. It was the first time since then, but man, but like my grandpa fought in Vietnam, you know, and we haven't talked a lot about that because it's a tough subject to breach. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, Nam, you know, like that's tough, you know? And, cause he ran supplies on boats and stuff like up the river and stuff, which is not exactly what they're doing in Apocalypse Now, but they are running stuff up the river, you know, like that. And I'm like, oh my God, if that's what you had to do, like, that's fucking terrifying. But like, that's, I have a tough time wrapping my head around the fact that that's a real thing. I've never had to do anything like that. So I appreciated Ezra's curiosity and Ezra kind of being like, so, this must have been something from back in the war, huh? And he's like, yeah. No, but Freddie Prinze Jr. in the first episode is my performance, which is rare if you're going up against D. Bradley Baker. But the explanation of Order 66 is the deepest Freddie Prinze has ever gotten into his bag and probably ever will get into his bag for emotionality. I like fully believe it. You know, sometimes there's this thing with specifically Freddie Prinze where I just hear Fred and it's tough, you know, like, I just hear Fred from Scooby-Doo. It's not his fault, you know, it's not his fault. It's my preoccupation. But that was one of those times where it just completely went away and it was Kanan through and through, and I really, really appreciated it. So I went with him for my performance in the first episode.
Yeah, that was at least the part of Ezra's perspective that is the most interesting to me is how Kanan, he's like, you weren't even alive, like you don't even know, and Ezra actually doesn't. Like, it is kind of crazy that there was this big of an event that happened, and I just kind of assumed, we're born with the knowledge that Vader is Luke's father, kind of like anyone in the universe is born with the knowledge that Order 66 happened, and they know all the details, but I guess he was just on Lothal. I guess is it just, I don't know, is it just very likely that most people actually don't know about Order 66 if you're just born after, or like is Ezra just kind of remote?
I think it's important to recall that the Empire does everything it can to bury the Jedi, like they don't want you to remember that. It's not just that history let it fall by the wayside. It's that they actively try to prevent people from remembering things like that. Something that there was always a little bit of a disconnect for me for was, in Star Wars, Han doesn't even believe in the Jedi. He doesn't believe the Force is real. Han was a baby during the Clone Wars. He was alive during the Clone Wars. You know what I'm saying? Like that doesn't make sense. That never made sense to me. There was a disconnect there. And I don't even think he was a baby. He was a child. Like he would have had consciousness. So like, obviously real world project development versus in-universe explanation. Obviously, they just hadn't conceptualized when that was yet. That's all that is. But I think that it provides important context that they bury the shit. They try their best to make people realize it was all bullshit, like and maybe there's some to the idea that if you are a small child at the time it happens, it's like, oh well, then they weren't really that powerful if they could just fall like that. You know what I'm saying? Like if they could all just die like that, they didn't actually have some, hokey religious power the way that, he puts it. But yeah, so I think it is more than just, oh, he didn't know, he didn't study. I think that it's one of those things that's not in history books. We're familiar with that.
Man, I guess that is fair, because I love now thinking how Hera's just up there, and if she was here, like, yeah, you're right, this problem would be solved instantly. But whenever, like, Ezra, the only stuff that Ezra is feeding Kanan is like, well, I don't think it could be that bad. Like, I think we should trust Rex. Like, he's hearing all of this, and he's still just like, well, I think we should trust Rex. And I feel like Hera would just have that added detail of like, hey, like I understand this guy. Like, I don't know. Like, she level with him first before she just full on says, trust.
She would have been perfect for Kanan in this scenario. Like it would have been everything she need. And maybe it wouldn't have been. Maybe it does cause more problems between Kanan and Hera, and maybe that's why they don't do it. Maybe it is sort of a like, how do you breach this sensitive of a topic with a significant other? Is that something we really want to go into in a children's show? You know what I'm saying? Like, and that is tough. Like that is it's a pretty grown up situation, and I know that it's within the context of a kid's show, but like maybe that's why they don't do it. But I do think it's more that she has that added context, like you said. Like Ezra's just kind of like, I don't know, he seems like a cool guy, Hera would have been like, Ahsoka trusts her. Ahsoka trusts him. I understand your hangups. All that good stuff. And I think that that is one of my favorite things about Ezra in these episodes, though, is that because his nature is so open now. He previously, this might not have been something he was cool with. Like early season 1, he's a loner, he's a lone wolf, he's on his own. But now he's like, the family's just going to keep on getting bigger. Let's do this thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just want more people to love. And I know that's not exactly what's going on, but it's what it feels like half the time. He befriends Hondo Ohnaka and shit. And it's like, I think that it's just cute and nice to see him in a light where he still gets to be a kid relatively, because he is dealing with a lot of responsibility, so him being able to ask questions and kind of act his age a little bit, I think it's refreshing.
Yeah, he's up at the very beginning of the episode. He walks in. He's like, "Hey, Commander Sato, I think we should establish a base, dude. I think that's a really good idea." And Commander Sato, he's, you're never afraid to express your opinions, Ezra.
Well, and it's funny to see Commander Sato like spin what he says into establishing a base, which is funny because Ezra's like, "Yeah, whenever I was in trouble on Lothal, I would run."
That's true. That is just all Ezra says. Yeah,
I would run. I would run and hide. Is that something? And Sato's like, I appreciate it. Yeah, a base isn't a bad idea. And Ezra's like, yeah, a base. That's what I meant. Yeah, for sure. No doubt.
Ezra, he's like #1 recruiter for the rebellion right now. I mean, he's just trying to get anyone in on the fight. Yeah. I think it's just he's the youngest out of everyone who has and the newest to the rebellion. Like his rebellion fight, he's always had it with his parents and stuff, but he's in it. He's just recently been in it the most recent. And I think that's just his fire is just so it's burning so strong, and I ended up giving him the performance for the second episode just for I don't know. I thought he gave just a bunch of good moments and inspiring that hope whenever you have the opposite of the I don't know, just the sad Kanan and the grumpy Kanan, but you still have that kind of beacon of hope of Ezra. But I don't know, I couldn't go with anyone but Rex for character here for the
I did too. He's just impossible. That guy, man. He's just that guy. Not only is he just that guy, but he's still Rex, It's not like I'm just giving it to him because it's Rex and because he's in the episodes. No, he's still that character, and I really, really appreciate it. Even though he is saying the Han Solo-esque, no, this isn't my fight, he's still there, and he's still doing it, and in the second episode, whenever he's like, I hope you're sending a better class than the Stormtrooper to come fight us, and he's like, there are many of them, and they are all at my command. You're gonna need all of them. I was like, you know what? You are fucking sick. I love that. I love Captain Rex, man, and he is, he's still got that spirit. Whenever Ezra is like, we can't leave them behind, we can't abandon them. And he's like, you're not abandoning anybody or covering your escape. I'm like, God, you are a real motherfucker. He's like, I am ready to die for you. And I just met you. You know what I'm saying? That is so cool. He is such a good dude.
He tells him to put the helmet down at first when Ezra picks it up. Because, Ezra loves his helmets. And Rex has got, goddamn, that's
a history with the helmet.
Yeah, one of the coolest ones there. And at first there's a little bit of tension between them, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'll knock the dust off of it or whatever." When he puts it back down, but then Rex actually gives him the helmet whenever he has to go outside in the sandstorm, and that's a nice moment, just to see Ezra in
the
Rex's
big
helmet out there. Having to drop
I love D. Bradley Baker as Gregor. Holy shit, is that guy funny? The big bongo. I love it. I love it. I love the shot of him whenever they're all getting swarmed by the Empire, and the Rebels crew is getting all fidgety and they're all trying their hardest, and they're like, why isn't anybody on the big gun? And Rex is like, not good in this situation. And they're all just kind of standing there. And then he's like, yeah, kind of like you guys, and Gregor is like, you want the shot? And he shoots down a TIE fighter like it's nothing. I love that shit. Still got it. That's my favorite shot from the second episode, is whenever he turns around and it's exploding behind him and he's got this big stupid grin on his face. I love it.
They did leave it there. Yeah, he did you saw the missile just slowly travel and then explode. That was I don't know. They still had it on them. No matter what their age is, they still got the know-how. They've been through, they were constantly fighting. For how long did the Clone Wars last? Was it
kind of varies in terms of what we think. Anywhere from 3 to 5 years is kind of the understanding.
Oh,
So at minimum 3 years, which is a lot of fighting, regardless.
and just all around the galaxy. It's not even like it's just one country and we're at
interplanetary
war.
war.
Oh my god! Just on to the next. Yeah, that's. But man, and then they're just so this is what they've been doing. They've just been out here fishing for. I guess this is the big one, that they got. But like they is this all that they do? Is they catch smaller ones and just eat this to live? And I don't know.
I think so.
This is
I
the
think
life
this is
they
just
chose.
the seclusion that they've gone into, and it is interesting to think about the Bad Batch versus here. This is about a 13, 14, 15-year difference from the last time we see specifically Wolf and Rex in Bad Batch Season 3. So it is kind of interesting to reckon with Captain Rex not being particularly passionate about the fight against the Empire. The Empire's not the Republic, but what are you going to do about that? What are you going to do? I can't do shit about that. When we saw immediately in the wake of the Republic him actively going against the Empire to help save the clones. So I am curious if there was some sort of clone rebellion, if he did manage to get his people out, and when he did, he was like, that's it. Like, now I'm done. Because, we see the same thing with the Bad Batch. The Bad Batch has their fight.
Yeah.
And then they go to Pabu. They go to Pabu and they're like, yep, that's that for us. We've done our fighting, which is fair. Like, Rex is just a unique case, I feel like, where it's like he'll be fighting till the day he dies. Is kind of how he feels.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them, and all of them, really deserve to be able to settle the fuck down. That would be ideal.
Man, yeah, it is. I guess it's just sad that the Empire is there. So it's like if it's there, it'd be nice to have everyone fight against him. But man, he's done his time, and I don't know, well past his prime. But still, I don't know. Gave him, I guess some good coordinates for some bases and stuff. And I guess they still have some ties to the Empire. I guess is that the idea, or like. Is he just knows all of this old Empire stuff, or like is there
like the codes that he has to punch in and stuff?
I guess I don't know. It felt like there was something else that not just Wolf, like I guess Wolf was the one hiding all of Ahsoka's messages and stuff like that. And I guess he was it the first time that he ever sent out any signal to the Empire? I guess because if they ever did before, then does the Empire just want to kill all? Like, if the Empire knew of their existence, would they just be a threat to the Empire, and then the Empire just kills them?
I don't think so. I think it's because they were harboring rebels that they were like, yep, you were seen harboring known rebels. But I also don't think that they ever had a reason to reach out to the Empire prior to this. I think that they all have their chain codes. They all have their I don't think they don't exist according to the Empire. You know what I'm saying? Like, at least that's how I understand it. But Rex might not. Yeah, Rex might not because he's. I believe he's thought dead at the time of Order 66. Because his cruiser goes down and all that good stuff. But
yeah, I wonder how all the I don't know. I guess this is before Clone War, the final Clone Wars season comes out. So I guess I don't know. There's maybe some of just real life timeline stuff going on here. But it is kind of cool to think about all this stuff. Like if they were to ever bring up how this droid hones in on Rex specifically or something, I don't know, it could be cool. In Mando, they just have those trackers that can just track where Grogu is. It'd be cool if they have some, I don't know, it just tracks your DNA or I don't know, somehow, something. But yeah, I guess we just know, I don't know, he is just kind of he does seem kind of like a big game hunter, though, is kind of the vibe that he gives off, which is is this really the best life I want? Rex to retire to is
I
him
mean,
just having
if it's survival, like if this is what he's doing, if this is the planet he's on, and they hunt Jupa, like and they eat Jupa, and that's what they do all day, then fuck it, man. I don't care.
Yeah. It'd just be nice to have a Pabu. I guess it's just so much nicer just to imagine the Bad Batch on Pabu just eating so much sushi and tropical fruit and just getting old.
I like to think Rex ends up in Pabu in his old age, because he fights at Endor, he fights in Return of the Jedi. After that they need somewhere to go. Omega was at the Battle of Endor, headcanon, of course. Mm-hmm. Okay. I like to assume she was at the Battle of Endor. If not that, the Battle of Jakku. She's there at the fall of the Empire. Like that's something she does. But then she has a place where she can return to and take those she's met along the way back to. And the Empire's officially not a cause for concern. We're going back to Pabu. We're free. It's got to be a good feeling. So, I like to think Rex lives out his days on Pabu. Maybe the final, whenever we do see Rex in live action, which Ahsoka season 2 feels like that's probably the case. I doubt they're going to take us to Pabu, but it'd be nice if they were like, yeah, he's on Pabu.
That they could just drop that detail. That'd be enough for me, just to know that he is there. I don't have to see it in live action.
I don't either.
Just the mere fact that he is there would be enough. But yeah, no. A live action, I don't know, seeing an old ass hunter, an old ass wrecker, and just I don't know. It would be kind of cool to actually get live. Cool. I mean, I won't complain if we get live action Pabu, but
that's why I'm like my other hang up is that it feels like after the Book of Boba Fett season 2, the relationship Disney seems to be keeping with Tamara Morrison is like at an arm's length, which is bizarre. So like, because like he's there in season 1, Captain Rex is, but he's got the helmet on and he's laying, and he's just in a flashback and stuff, and they don't really allude to whether or not he's around or if he's alive and all that. So like I can't tell what they're doing there. And not that I'm like, give me more of the connections to places I've seen but Rex is important to Ahsoka, like it would make it would make sense that he's acknowledged in some capacity, even if it is like, and when Rex died, like I'd be fine with that. I know that he got to live out his days. I know that he got to fight the Empire. I know that he didn't die in battle. If you go like, and he passed away, that's fine. Like it just say something, or else I'm going to keep going like, well, when are you going to show me Rex? Because I know Ahsoka and Rex are down ass homies. So, but yeah, D. Bradley Baker did pull down the performance for me in the second episode.
Okay. Yeah, he got it for me in the first. I guess I gave it to him just for Rex. I think you're right with the Freddie Prinze Jr. pick here, that he did have to go on a deeper level. I was just honed in. I was laser focused on Rex and D. Bradley Baker in here. So I don't know. I guess he got a nod in both episodes. And I mean, it's the man of many voices. It is crazy that he's like having a conversation with himself at many points with Rex and Gregor Wolf. But yeah, he's, man, I don't know. I wonder at the end total of all of this, we'll have just the people, the voice actors, but they only play their one character, pretty much. I guess, I don't know, maybe Taylor Gray or Freddie Prinze voice someone down the line, someone else, I don't know. But like D. Bradley Baker is pretty much the only one to actually just have so many different character options that you could go with. But it'd be, I don't know, it's going to be nice to see the like totals at the very end, to see what characters are at the top.
Oh man, bye Big Bongo. I love his voice in Gregor. I don't know why. It's like a fun twist on what became the Crosshair Tech voice, but a little bit more, I mean, aged, Like I feel like this is what Tech would have sounded like if he made it to 60 or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. Good old these. I I didn't. Okay, yeah. I thought I might have talked about my favorite scene in the first episode, but I didn't. It was whenever like we actually meet Rex before he comes out. They land down there. Really cool shot as well. Whenever the Phantom's kind of coming down and it's you see the Walker on the planet ground and the Phantom kind of coming down to meet it. But then that kind of standoff that they have right away. Whenever Kanan kind of realizes like, oh, I don't know really what's going on. Ezra be on guard.
They're clones.
And they come out. They realize they're clones, and Kanan immediately sabers up, you know, and they're blasting at him immediately.
Jedi.
And, and just the I thought because Ezra he initially was like Kanan, Ahsoka says to trust for us to trust him, and I thought like Rex would have been like, oh, Ahsoka, like I thought he would have heard it there, but like. It was then a little bit later that Ezra was like, yeah, no, Ahsoka sent us. And he's like, oh, okay.
He's like Ahsoka, I fucking love Ahsoka. Yeah. And their reunion, obviously, at the end of episode 4 is so fucking good, man. Like, you got old. Had to happen at some point. Like, I love that, man. There's just a history there that's so evident. And you don't see Ahsoka soften very often. Which was very cool to see, you know. Like I can't even.
Not a single time in her show, like really, and like she's very stoic in her show. The last time, would have.
I mean, like her and Ezra hug. You know, maybe that's when. Maybe that's.
Yeah.
But like prior to this, timeline wise, like. Season 3 of Clone Wars, you know, like I don't know. I'm just throwing a number at it because I'm like season 5 she gets kicked out of the Order. Season 6 she's not in it. Season 7 she's on the run, and then she's, you know, fighting in the Battle of Mandalore. So like, very intense life for a young Jedi. So yeah, I appreciated this moment and seeing her kind of like that because, you know, Rex hasn't seen her like that either. You know, like that's something that was probably nice for him to be like, oh, you know, it's nice to have a moment like this.
And I guess I hate going with the cheesy line or the line that ends the episode for stuff, but I don't know. It was nice whenever they are reuniting and Kanan's like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't easy. It's honestly still not. To see him, and Ahsoka says nothing worth doing ever is, and you know, just the credits music is always such a feel good with the show. But yeah, I don't know. I think I finally got all my favorites down now. That was the last.
Gotcha.
One.
I don't think I got my line from the first episode. Let me go ahead and get that pulled up. Actually, I've been going straight off the dome from memory as of yet. Let's see. I did go with "We all have a choice." I did touch on it. I did not regard it as my favorite line, though. And then we got that. My shot from the first episode is the Dune ass shot. Whenever the big bongo rises up out of the ground and is facing Kanan, Shai Hulud in the sky. I love it.
I love anytime I see a worm in any media now. I don't know. I feel like it either it has to be. Well, in Star Wars, it feels like it is a call to Dune because it just is an inspiration. But I don't know the big bongo. I don't know. Good. Did they even get to actually eat it? I don't think so. I think
no. They had to drop it. They had to drop it and run.
They didn't even take one slice, one taste. No. Dang, they didn't have it.
Wrecker wouldn't let that happen.
Yeah, they would have had to eat right then and there.
He'd have carried it on his shoulders if he had to.
Man, Zeb didn't even get a taste like that. He was the one who was like, "Well, if I was, you know, in its mouth, I feel like it's only fair if I get to see what it tastes like." And man, he didn't even get to.
I think it's so funny because, like, if this barren wasteland of a planet is where Jupas reside, how the fuck they know they like Lasats? You know, how the fuck they know they like Lasats? How many Lasats pull up?
Well.
How many Lasats pull up and Jupas are like, oh, I like that. You know, like it's funny. It's funny mythos to be building here around the Jupas.
Maybe it's just so foreign. It's like that is like unlike any other food that I can get.
He like walked up. Gregor was like, "Damn, you stink. Get out there."
He's like, "It's gonna love you." I don't know. Maybe
fucking love you.
Maybe
man.
he doesn't even fully know that it's like specifically Lasats that they like. It's just like you're a big, hairy, smelly guy. Yup. Get on out there. That's the best.
I think it's kind of funny and sad that one of Zeb's defining characteristics is that he doesn't smell good. He's a stinky guy. Like in the first couple episodes, whenever they had them like hiding in crates as they were getting pushed along, and Zeb was like, he like jumps out of his crate, breathing heavy. They're like, "What's wrong?" He's like, "Have you smelled me?" I'm like, "Damn, man, even you know you stink. That's rough. That's a rough life."
He does get kind of a hard line here, though. Whenever they walk into the walker initially, I think Gregor is like, "Oh, you're a big one, aren't you?" And then Zeb just goes, "Bigger than you," or something. Like he kind of like goes full Batman mode. I felt like he got this. It didn't even sound like Zeb for a second there, but
love that.
Yeah, he does. He does always feel like he's always, I don't know, kind of washed down to the comedic relief, or even like at the end whenever he's pulled out and he kind of is like, "I was in that thing's mouth," but then like Gregor's like, "Well, it's the biggest one we've ever caught," and he's like, "Oh, well, it wasn't that bad.
It was me, like I did that." Yeah, no, I think it is. I do love it. I love it, man. But I don't know. I feel very good about these episodes. It was nice to see Rex back. It makes me a little. The second one makes me a little emotional in this duology. I love the callbacks to Rex reminiscing on his time, the positive times of the war. His time with Anakin, and like I was a part of the 501st Battalion, and my Jedi was the greatest of all. It's very, very. It's nice to watch him say things like that. But yeah, I felt very good about these. Is it time for trivia? I think we're there.
So my last of the how many. The quantity question.
Yes, this is a sequel one, right?
Yes. Well, yes, we've hit the OT and the PT. Now we are on to the sequel trilogy. So I guess you had a little bit of a hint going into it, but
I didn't look into. I don't. There's
not
no
much.
Fucking way
There's
to
no
tell.
way you can hone it down. But what I'm asking here, it comes out of The Force Awakens. Is this true? Yes, I think so. But it is. Whenever BB-8 is going up to the little food portion stand and he is offered, he's like, "I'll buy BB-8 from you." How many portions does, what is that? Oh, that was one of my trivia questions, was that guy's name.
Plutt.
Yeah.
Unkar Plutt. Okay.
How many portions is offered for BB-8?
Okay.
And
it's a pretty
stack.
big number because earlier she brings a bunch of shit by it. He's like, 1/4 portion.
Yes.
So I know that one. Let me think.
BB-8.
I'm gonna go 40 portions.
Ooh. Okay, a little bit more. He was offered 60 food portions.
God, yep,
yes,
that's where
60.
my gut took me, and I went, I don't think it's that much. I'm pissed. 60 portions. Okay, I could for some reason I could hear 40 portions. I don't know. Maybe it was the 1/4 portion that got me there, but
yep.
All right.
Okay.
Damn,
60.
that was my gut, and I should have gone with it. I'm pissed.
What a sad realization to like Ray looking at just 60 pieces of bread, basically, and all that is, and then.
Well, and that's what's crazy is that like that's more than 60 pieces of bread because she made one piece of bread with the quarter portion.
Oh.
I mean,
and
it's probably not a full
bread. Is it like it the same food every time? It doesn't.
I don't know. That's a good question. Yeah, like I'm not gonna lie. I've always wanted to try that like rising muffin bread loaf. It looks.
It did.
I mean, it doesn't look great,
good.
but I think the process doesn't look great, but the final product doesn't look bad.
It is steaming.
I'd like to
steaming.
Try it.
I don't know. It felt like it would smell good too. Good fresh bread. I don't know, but yeah, 60 portions for BB-8 there.
All right, 60 portions. All right. I like it. Mine relates to Captain Rex here, kind of relevant to the episode. In Season 1, Episode 5 of The Clone Wars, titled Rookies, Captain Rex and Commander Cody head to Rishi Moon to conduct an inspection of the base being held by the said rookies. Young clones eager for action who would soon begrudgingly see some. Can you name at least 3 of the clones that were at the base on Rishi Moon aside from Rex and Cody?
Oh, no. Okay.
There are 5 that get names. So you are naming most of them.
Okay. This is not good. My name just names in general are hard, but then to think back on Clone Wars now. Okay. Well, just to think of the ones that do have names. Rookies. Would it make sense if Gregor and Wolf were here? I'd say those are, let's see. Oh my god, there's one name that is, I'd probably only be able to get maybe one more. I don't think I'm going to be able to get all 5, that's for sure.
No, yeah, that's why I was like, at least 3. I was like, just name 3 of them. There are 2 here that I don't expect you to know were there, but you will know their names. The other 3, I'm kind of like, if you get one of these, it'll be a good. I'd be impressed.
Oh my god, who is this guy? What? Gregor Wolf. What is his name? I feel like he has a storyline in the Bad Batch, maybe. Even, I don't know. Is maybe ringing a bell. Maybe it is just Clone Wars there. Oh, man, am I really only going to be able to get, like, my guesses are Gregor and Wolf just because they appear in this episode that I just watched? That is pretty sad. But no, I was really hoping Cody would be one of them because that's one of the only other clone names that I know.
I'll give you Cody. He is there. I did say aside from it, but I'll give you Cody.
That is sad, but yeah, no, I mean the only clone names that are coming to mind right now are Gregor and Wolf. But oh my god, there is one that I'm going to be pissed off whenever you say it though. But the other ones,
I know which one. I'm pretty sure I know which one that's going to be. Actually, there's a second one that you're going to be pissed you didn't remember was there. But yeah, if you're throwing in the towel at Gregor, Wolf, and Cody, I'll give you a 1. Sadly. I'll give you a 1 for 3. Gregor and Wolf are not there.
No.
Cody is, as he was a part of the question, but so the 3 I didn't expect you to get: Droid Bat, Heavy, and Cut Up.
Wow. Yeah. No. Would have never.
The 2
there.
I thought you would get.
Oh.
5s.
Oh. So okay. I should have. Okay.
Find 5s. Yeah, that's one that I thought maybe you'd remember. And this one you're gonna feel real shitty about. Echo.
Echo. Oh
yeah.
No, it was Echo.
Yeah.
I'm like. I guess that makes sense. And I'm like, oh, one of them has a storyline in the Bad Batch, I feel like. Well, yeah, actually
Yes.
a pretty massive one at that as well.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I felt like it just wasn't any of the bigger people at all. God damn it. Echo's always...
I did Heavy, Droid Bat, and Cut Up. I was like, if you get any one of those, I'd be massively impressed. But 5s I was going to be impressed with. I thought maybe you'd just get Echo by sheer chance. Like throwing out a clone name.
Yeah, I really got a negative score on that one. Being complete, like that was I really got like a -2 on that.
Yeah,
one. That was.
But no, okay. But it's good to learn. So 5s, Echo, Heavy, Droid Bat, and Cut Up are the named
Bat.
clones. Yeah, Droid Bat. Yeah, wow. Heavy, Droid Bat, and Cut Up. I'm pretty sure never appear again. But 5s and Echo are permanently around. But
okay.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Echo. You always get the short end of the stick, but
we have time. We've got another 45 minutes before I have to go, and this certainly won't take that long. It's time for a weapons draft, baby. It's time for our first segment in a few weeks. I'm very, very excited because this is going to be a goodie. We're doing a weapons draft. We are each going to choose 5 weapons. 5 weapons. Now, That's anything. That's lightsabers or blasters, or otherwise, if you can think of other things. I'm sure there are other things, but, it is what it is. We are limiting lightsabers, though. You can only have 2 lightsabers out of the, or was it? Yeah, it was 2 out of the 5, not 3 out of the 5, right? Yeah, 2 out of the 5 can be lightsabers. The rest have to be otherwise. Now, I am curious, do we want to refine this even more? Does this become, like, you have to be able to hold it in your hand? Is that what we want to do? Or is it something that, like, if it's an attachment on a ship, is that allowed?
I guess I only have... Okay, I have 2 or 3 things that you definitely cannot hold in your hand, but they aren't, I guess, like, super high on my list. One of them is definitely you cannot hold it in your hand. It comes... It is more of, like, a ship attachment, I guess.
Okay.
So I feel like the whole ship itself is probably... not the thing, but if it is a known weapon,
it is a weapon.
Yeah,
that's fair. Okay. I just wanted to check that out. All right, then I think that I am good to go. You are good to go. Let's do a coin toss.
Oh yeah. What are we going to use up here?
Yeah, let's see. I don't have the remote handy, so this is all right. We're going classic with it. I have a football.
Laces,
we're going laces, or the other side. So, do you want to call it?
I'll go laces if you'll let me.
Laces, it is.
There we go. Okay. Wow. Ooh, where do I want to start? I get the first pick. Well, I mean, we are limiting to 2 sabers.
Feels like you want to knock those out early.
Yeah, gotta get. I mean,
at least I will be going a lightsaber first pick. Like that's just it's just the smart place to start.
And which lights out of all of them, man? This is. I have 3 that I'm going back and forth between. One I feel like you just won't take. So but maybe you will out of spite out of the draft. But I think out of uniqueness in the storyline it provides. Yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm actually going to do it. It's crazy. I think this might be out of left field. I'm going to go with the Darksaber for the first pick, actually. And okay, I think I feel okay about that, actually.
That's good. That's a good place to start. That is a good place to start. And I'm going to combat that with Vernestra Rose Light Whip.
Ooh, okay. Yes, I feel like uniqueness is kind of like it gives it more of a value than like if it's just a nostalgic weapon.
Right. Yeah, because I will probably end up going with a nostalgic one, but I got creative for a few of these. Just like in terms of design. Like that's more than anything what I wanted to prioritize was like, does that look fucking cool? Yeah, it does. Yes. I want it, you know? Okay.
Wow, I get one more saber. I guess I can list off the other ones because after this I can't pick anymore. Obviously Dooku's is up there just for my favorites. I think it does look unique and god damn it's so cold. Obviously we got the family saber up there, the one that's been passed down the line for a while. That one's pretty big. The other honorable mentions I have is the Inquisitor's spin sabers,
the spinny blade,
that are also fucking helicopters, which is sick. Ronin saber, which I might go with. Chimere saber, just the cool little itty bitty one that comes off.
Yeah, that's one I got on my list here.
And then Ezra's first one with the blaster built in.
I also have Ezra's Glock saber.
Let's see, but I mean, out of principle, I got to go with Dooku's. I have to. So yeah, that'll be my last saber.
That'll be your last saber. All right, that means I can save my saber pick.
Oh, I guess yeah. Oh, I guess true. I didn't even think of that. I wasn't forced to actually pick a saber there, but I did. Now it is done. But
no, yeah. That's it's none of the ones you said though. Which is exciting. Yes, yes. And I'm happy with my pick, and we will come back around to it. But I am going to take my first blaster here. And it's going to be Cassian's Briar Blaster MW20. The one that like the barrel rotates when he shoots it. I fucking love that blaster.
Oh.
That is probably my single favorite blaster design in all the Star Wars. I think that is so fucking cool. So I had to pull trig. It also has some of the best sound effects. Just that like the spin. It's just so fucking cool. I love that. I love that gun.
Okay.
So, I went with Cassian's there.
One that didn't even come up on my radar. I didn't even think about this one, but man, okay, that's solid. Okay, now, where do I go? I thought you were immediately going with Hans, just the classic DG.
I have it on the short list.
Yeah,
I do have it on the short list.
And that I was scared. I'm like, oh no, because I don't know. I guess I 3D printed 2 of them in my life. I love the look of the thing. It's just classic.
Yeah.
The sound of it's also, it pops off. I think, I don't know. I kind of have to have it. I gotta take Hans, the good old DG44, as I believe is its model, right?
I believe it's a DL44.
L. Okay, I'm like, yeah, DG44 looks like it is a chemically defined protein-free medium for refrigerant. Wow, yeah, that is much different than Hans Blaster. DL44 to be. There we go. Okay, much better.
All right. Then I am going to go with the Ambin Phase Pulse Rifle.
No!
Which is the disintegration weapon Mando uses in the 3rd episode of The Mandalorian. I think that thing is so fucking sick.
Damn it.
Yeah, I had to go with the disintegration rifle. I think that thing is so fucking sick.
Yeah, okay. That was what I was going back and forth of. Do I take Hans Blaster or do I take this one? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't think he'll take it. I think I can get it next pick. No, I should have. But that's really sad. Yeah. Okay, but that's okay. At least it was picked high. That's all I care about. Okay. I think now. I have to. This is my one that can definitely not fit in your hand. I guess depending on who you are, maybe. But
right.
it comes out of a ship. Actually,
yeah.
not even fully attached, but it's just the seismic charge. I mean, come on, yeah, it's like one of the coolest noises I've just ever heard in my life. And if I died by one, I don't even think I'd really care as long as I heard the noise before it happened. But yeah, I gotta secure the seismic charge there.
I support your choice there. That was the one that I thought when you said attachment of a ship. That's exactly the one I was thinking of when I asked about it too. You know, I was like, the seismic charge is what we're all thinking about here. Oh man, now this is tough. There's a couple I still have my lightsaber pick. I've got 2 picks, so I'm going to save my lightsaber for last, which means I can kind of throw you a couple recommendations if I can here too. Mando's Whistling Birds. I was tempted by those. Let's see. Dryden Voss's like daggers in Solo. The like red trimmed. Those are fucking sick. I like those a lot. I didn't think of that. Okay. Now I'm going off the dome. All 5 of the ones I had listed are gone. So like I'm trying to recall things. Let's see. Is there anything? Ooh. You know what? For the love of the game. For the love of the game, I'm going to go with Omega's crossbow.
Ooh. Okay. Yeah.
Cuz I love that character. I love her holding that weapon. I think it's a really good one. So I'm going to go with Omega's crossbow.
Okay. Yeah, you got some the look of all of your weapons are like fucking
it's pretty
sick.
Nice.
Okay. So now I guess
I saved best for last, buddy.
Okay. Man, it wasn't even a saber that was mentioned. I've been kind of thinking of that, but okay, now I guess I got my last pick here. I guess the things I'm between Chewie's bowcaster, the big I mean that pretty classic there.
Yeah.
I feel like that's nostalgic pick there. The Beskar spear, is up there. A droidica, just straight up a destroyer.
That's
like
fair. That would be a weapon. Yeah.
I don't know. Out of the droids, I feel like just a droidica is just
always been the best.
It
always
even gets
superior.
Jedi to be like, "Fuck destroyers, we gotta go."
Yeah.
I mean, you saw Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan some sonic speed boost out of there.
They're the only time we've ever seen force speed used was to avoid those motherfuckers, which is crazy.
So I mean, if I were to pick a droid, it would probably be a droidica, and then the other one is the vibro knife. I think it's just the
vibro knife is fucking clean.
Oh my god, the concept of just getting is that the point? Is that it just makes it easier to stab? Is it like it just goes through anything like butter? Or is it that once you stab that it just keeps doing more damage? Or is it both? I think
both. I think both is effective.
It's a clean weapon.
There.
Yeah. It is a clean weapon. But what do I guess Zeb's staff was also up there.
That was one that yes, I had that thought as well.
I think there is a name for it. They do have a name.
Yeah, the Lasan Royal Guard. I think it might be Vibro staff, but I don't know. Maybe I'm mistaken there.
Let's see. I think honestly, I'm gonna go with the droidica. I think it's just
that'd be cold.
I mean, they got a shield. The sounds are good.
The
I mean, the roll.
I love the sounds.
Yeah,
it's really important. Sounds are really important here. I love sounds, and the sound design of weapons really adds to the weapon, which is why Ronan's lightsaber was a really, really good choice. But I'm going with the one, if you'll recall, he was facing, which was the lightsaber parasol, the umbrella. The lightsaber umbrella is fucking sick. I probably all-time favorite lightsaber design. I fucking love that shit. I think it is so ridiculous. I think it's so awesome. So I am with my last pick going with the lightsaber parasol.
Okay. Man, yeah, that's very. I mean, yeah, you saved it for last. I wouldn't have even. Oh man, I guess I only thought of Ronan's saber from that episode.
Yeah, you mentioned it, and I was like, "Oh no, is he going? Is he thought of it? He thought of visions."
Oh man, wow, no, yeah, that I would not want to face that. That's just any time like Grievous spins his blades and is just walking towards Obi-Wan, or Inquisitor spins, but that thing, I don't know. That's like, what do you even know
how
do?
You try there?
What do you even do? But okay, wow.
I'm surprised Chymir's saber stayed on the board. That was one that I thought might come off at some point.
He was on the list. I mean,
probably my third. He's probably my third choice here. Just design wise, it's fucking awesome. But yeah, then let's go ahead and list off our teams. I'll post them on Twitter, and we'll get her popping. What all you got?
All right. Well, I picked the Dark Saber and Dooku's saber for my two lightsabers, and then I got Han's DL-44, the Seismic Charge, and the Droidica.
The Droidica, fucking sick. I went with the Light Whip, Cassian's Briar Blaster MW-20, the Ambon Phase Pulse Rifle, Omega's Crossbow, and the Lightsaber Parasol. So we've got some dope-ass teams. I'll post those on Twitter. You don't even really have to vote on it. Just kind of a favorites thing here. But, I'll probably post a poll with it and everything. We can see. But, then with that, I think we can conclude this episode of Fulcrum, a Star Wars podcast, and we'll be back next week with episodes 5 and 6 of Season 2. You can follow on Twitter at the Fulcrum Pod. That's where you'll find those the poll for who won this week's draft, and the picture of it side by side. I think that'll be fun to cook up a little bit. Let's see. We are an offshoot of the Penny Bloom podcast, which is currently having a lot of fun with the Penny Bloom Dispatch, and the Robertsons, me and my dad, are doing a podcast. And speaking of Andor, earlier this week, I got my dad to watch some Andor. So we'll see how he felt about that, and you can see how he felt about that on this Monday's past episode of the Penny Bloom podcast. We are actually in the midst of the first season of Death by Television. Episode 1 of The Penguin was last Thursday, and we covered it on Monday. on Death by Television. That is where you can check that out. Very, very excited for you to hear that. I cannot wait for the rest of that show. And we're covering it week by week on Death by Television. Go ahead and check that out. And like I said, an offshoot of the Penny Bloom podcast at Penny Bloom Pod on Twitter is where you'll get all updates on everything we're doing. And we've got the Sentimentalists around the corner. We're doing the Penny Bloom Dispatch, Death by Television, Fulcrum. We're busy. We do a lot. So that is an easy place to kind of see everything all in one place. Let's see. Yeah, I believe that is that. Yeah, if you would, head to patreon.com/pennybloom.pod. For $1.50 a month, you can support the podcast financially, which is huge because it costs me money, and I don't make any off of it unless it's over there. Leave a 5-star rate and review wherever you might be listening and download the episode. I would appreciate it greatly. And, yeah. With that, I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. And I will see you next week for Season 2, Episodes 5 and 6. Remember, for light and life.